Hello, this is Michael, atheist and alcoholic. I'm attempting 90 meetings in 90 days. Everything I talk about in these videos will be strictly my thoughts, my shares. I will never undermine the anonymity of AA. So yesterday I talked about journaling, and there was a few things I forgot to mention. I almost redid the video, but I finally had a video under 3 minutes long, which made me happy, so I just kept it. I talked about how reading the journal entries leading up to a relapse was useful. Even when I had 3 years sober and we lost our German Shepherd unexpectedly, she had been fine up to that point. If you read those journal entries leading up to that relapse, it was evident that I was bound for it. Like it was coming. That was what pushed me over the edge. But one way or another, I was going to find myself back at the bottom of a bottle sooner rather than later, most likely. So reviewing those entries was useful. Also, during my last bender, the journaling had become such an ingrained habit. I made entries during the bender I didn't recall making. Reading those was kind of scary. Um, and then also, as soon as my fingers start working again, post bender during the withdrawal, I make entries that are as detailed as I possibly can. So urges that haven't been a problem in the last 2 years, but when they were, it was sometimes useful to go back and read the journal entries I made during withdrawal that made me very aware of the nightmare I was inviting back should I decide to drink again. And the reason I mention my fingers working is my ability to type is one of my metrics for my progress through the withdrawal. Typically, I type about 70 words a minute with my fat, stubby fingers. Not super accurate, but quick. During the withdrawal, the motor control is gone, and I type about 1 letter per second. The automaticity just simply isn't there. I have to think about each and every keystroke. It might even be less than 1 letter per second. It's terrifying, kind of. So reading the journal entries leading up to a relapse, during the relapse, and during the withdrawal have all been super useful for me to maintain my sobriety. And these journal entries, they're several years old now. I may start updating the site again, but I do have a blog, iwishIweredead.com. I will put the link in the description. I know blogs are dead, but those journal entries, I think they're from 2017. They're up there. I may start updating that again. I like that they're several years back so that when I make journal entries now, I don't feel like I'm writing to an audience. Um, Today was meeting number 9, and it was a great meeting. We had some weather coming in this evening, so I drove a little further early this afternoon to make a different meeting than I would have usually, and it was a fun group. There was more crosstalk. That was one of my things I liked a lot more about Smart Recovery is they encourage crosstalk. So if you don't know what that means, that it's more like a normal conversation. In a lot of AA meetings, they're not exactly passing a stick so that whoever has the stick is the only one that gets to talk, but you can almost imagine that they are. Everybody shares, and it moves on, then it moves on, then it moves on. And if I understand correctly, and I may be getting this wrong, I'm not even sure if you're supposed to reference other people's shares when you're sharing. I could be wrong about that. So it was a much more fun group, a lot more laughter. I don't think that the benefit of laughing, especially in terrible situations and when discussing tragic topics, I don't think the value of laughter can be overstated. There were some pretty heavy shares today, intermixed with laughter, which was awesome. And I'm not sure how much my share resonated with the AA group, but one of the things I learned in Smart Recovery about relapses is that time you had sober isn't gone. You know, I had 2 years sober out of the gate. I learned a lot simply about not drinking. Those Nothing happened to those 2 years of sobriety. Those lessons are still there. You relapse, you pick yourself up, you go again, and you reflect on the lessons learned both about remaining sober and about what is likely to initiate another relapse. So that's all I have for today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you here again tomorrow.